In 2022, according to the United Nations Global E-Waste Monitor, the world generated 62 million metric tons of electronic waste, also known as e-waste. But what exactly is e-waste? In this video, I'm going to share with you an explanation of what e-waste is, why it is a much bigger problem than you think, and what we can do about it. Ready? Let's go. So what even is e-waste? Well, according to the World Health Organization, WHO, the term e-waste refers to any piece of electronics that has been discarded as they break or become obsolete and are thrown away. So what does that mean? It means every single phone, laptop, computer, even larger devices like vacuums and TVs, all constitute e-waste once they are disposed of, when they aren't working or are just old. As a form of environmental pollution, e-waste is the fastest growing solid waste stream in the world. As mentioned earlier, in 2022, the world generated 62 million metric tons of e-waste, and that number is only going up. To put that in perspective, this waste could fill up a 40 metric ton truck 1.5 million times over. As the world becomes ever more reliant on electronics, this hazardous waste stream is only increasing. Global e-waste in 2022 was up 82% compared to 2010 and is on track to rise a further 32% to reach 82 million metric tons in 2030. With that, you might still be thinking, sure, it's a lot, but are the effects really that bad? Well, to that, I'd like to show you 3 aspects to the negative effects of e-waste. First of all, the health aspect. E-waste by its very nature contains many different toxic substances and heavy metals. From the battery to the wiring of these devices, various harmful substances such as mercury and lead are exposed and pose a significant health risk. Anyone living in proximity to a lot of e-waste faces higher risks of developing a wide array of cancers, and even worse, children are known to be even more susceptible. The chances of having impaired brain function and developing hearing loss. Next up, we have the economic aspect to the negative effect of e-waste. E-waste also has effects on the economy. One of the reasons e-waste is even still a problem is a concept called planned obsolescence. It's the practice of manufacturers creating products that they purposefully plan for you to replace in a few years. This practice leads to the lifespan of various devices being way shorter than they should be. For example, a phone might last around 2 years instead of 5 or 6. Because of this, more resources and money is put into making new products as opposed to reusing the resources that already exist in these devices. An estimated $91 billion of metals were discarded as e-waste in 2022, $15 billion of which was found to be gold. Imagine just tossing away $15 billion worth of gold. Another part of this is that, as opposed to throwing away devices and equipment, many of these devices could just be repaired. And repairs of common devices is the backbone of many small businesses focused on fixing up an array of devices. So what's the problem? Well, some corporations make their products increasingly hard to repair, making it near impossible for anyone else to repair these devices, thus driving you to their own services. Where, of course, as we've discussed before, they would rather you buy a new device. Because of this, many of these small businesses can no longer thrive. Finally, e-waste also has an immense impact on the environment and climate. Electronic devices require raw materials, including rare earth metals, that are extracted by clearing land that may have been a forest, and then they are processed and transported in a highly energy-intensive process, mainly powered by fossil fuels. As demand ramps up and people are persuaded to replace their devices more often, the climate impact is growing. In a new report recently released by the United Nations, it was found that proper e-waste management and disposal cuts down global carbon pollution by reclaiming metals and reducing the need to extract new raw materials. Recycling metals from e-waste instead of extracting new raw materials avoided approximately 52 million metric tons of planet-warming emissions in 2022, according to the report. Knowing all of the negative effects e-waste has on our health, environment, and even the economy, it might seem like a daunting and hopeless problem. but there remains something we can all do. As you might know, the 3 R's of reduce, reuse, and recycle, in that order, are essential for climate action, even in this case of e-waste. Another thing that is important to do is the secret 4th R of repair, making it come out to 4 R's of reduce, reuse, repair, and recycle. Let's go through them, shall we? Reduce. In the case of e-waste, this means reconsidering that new electronics purchase. Do I really need a new phone or laptop? Can I get by with my current one? Could I use the money for something more important? Reuse. If you have a piece of technology that still works but you no longer want for whatever reason, consider reusing it by giving it out to someone who will make good use of it. Repair. Now this is the new one. If something just doesn't work anymore, before getting rid of it, consider supporting a local repair shop by having your devices fixed or researching how to repair it yourself. More often than not, it's a simple repair and your device is back to working as new. Recycle. Finally, if after all that, and hopefully by this point it's been a few years, you have tried the first 3 R's and your item is no longer usable, seek out options in your area for recycling, thus allowing your device to live on and become something else. So in conclusion, some key points to remember are: e-waste is any piece of electronics that has been thrown away. According to the United Nations Global E-Waste Monitor, it is the fastest growing stream of solid waste in the world. E-waste has adverse effects on our health, economy, and environment that we need to be aware of to start the journey onto fixing it. We can all individually contribute to the solution by following the now 4 R's to reduce our consumption, reuse our devices, repair our electronics, and recycle them. Together, we can turn the tide on e-waste and pave the way for a sustainable future. Be part of the solution. Repair and recycle your electronics, because every device deserves a second chance.